thing, I'm going to fight.
Still, Long did not specifically deny the allegations that he used cash, lavish gifts, and international travel to lure 4 young men into homosexual relationships. Pete Combs, CBS News, Atlanta.
The topic is taxes, with Bush-era tax cuts scheduled to expire at the end of the year unless Congress acts. House Republican leader John Boehner points a finger at the Democrats.
It sounds like they're just going to punt the ball until a lame duck session, and as a result, allow the uncertainty to continue, the economy to go slow, and no jobs being created.
Boehner on Fox News Sunday. Chairman Chris Van Hollen of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee is predicting
the House will vote before these tax cuts expire at the end of the year. Whether we vote before the election or not is something we'll take a look at.
Van Hollen was on NBC's Meet the Press. A couple of anti-war activists in Chicago are outraged by an FBI search of their home, saying it was an attempt to intimidate them and silence the peace movement. Joe Isobaker and his wife complain that the government targeted them because they've been outspoken against the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
We've done what millions have done. We've marched and protested to get the troops out now and to help those people who have suffered terribly at the hands of the United States government.
The FBI says it searched 8 addresses in Chicago and Minneapolis on Friday. Warrants suggest they were looking for links between anti-war activists and organizations in Colombia and in the Middle East. A California condemned inmate, Albert Brown, has been given more time to choose how he dies, a lethal injection of one drug or the 3-drug cocktail that the state has used in the last 2 executions in the state. Deadline is noon today. Brown is scheduled to be put to death on Wednesday. The Texas Rangers clinched the American League West Championship, first time in 11 years, topping the Oakland A's 4-3. The Rangers are the second big league team to nail down a postseason spot, joining the Minnesota Twins. The AL Central champs, Texas, the only current Major League Baseball franchise never to win a playoff series. Passengers on Delta Flight 224 bound for Amsterdam will be late, very late. An unruly passenger on the plane last night forced pilots to return the flight to SeaTac International. No injuries aboard the plane. Delta canceled the flight to Amsterdam. This is CBS News.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Keep It a Real Sports here on Chat About It Radio, powered by CBS Radio. I'm Ed Easton, and this episode is probably the most different one than all of them we've done here on Chat About It, for the simple fact that it's possibly that this is the last Chat About It broadcast for us, I believe, and for a lot of people in the station. But you know, a lot of things can happen. Like I said, Chat About It's had a great run, but we'll get into a lot more of that later. I'm by myself today, which is kind of, a little bit different from how we usually have it on the show. We usually have like 2 or 3 people here. Lynx is usually here. Danny's here. And, of course, my co-host Stan Taloise is here. But it appears people cannot set their alarm clocks. That's an important thing. Now, if you're going to, do a radio show on a Sunday morning, you kind of have to have your alarm clock set, whether you were partying Saturday night or not. I'm just saying professionalism there, but I'm not going to go off into a crazy, crazy long rant about, setting your alarm clock. Just something you just should do. It's a little bit of common sense right there. But, hey, what else can I say? Well, I can't tell you that this is Keeping It Real Sports. We are going to be talking about the latest big sports news, and there is plenty of it, especially in the NBA, and they haven't even dribbled a basketball yet officially this year. We're going through this whole trades, free agency. We already know the big hoopla with LeBron James this summer taking his talents to Miami once again, So it's a lot of things going on. One of the main things that I see out there is Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony apparently has control over his whole destiny in terms of where he's going to go because he doesn't want to stay in Denver, but he's forcing a trade to a big market team. Now, the teams that we've heard of so far have been Chicago, of course, my Knicks, and New Jersey Nets. Now, there was a supposed 4-team deal that was in the works, and it involved, the Nets, it involved Utah, and it's kind of, when I look at the deal, And we're going to go, like I said, I'm just teasing it right now. I'm going to get a little bit more into it a little bit later. It just doesn't. I just don't understand where the Nets are going to benefit from getting Carmelo right now in his career. And I say this, I'm not saying that Carmelo's a bad player. It's just that you're pretty much telling him to go from a team that will be rebuilding to a team that is going to be rebuilding, because New Jersey didn't get better at all in the offseason. If Troy Murphy is your biggest free agent signing, and actually he was through via trade, you're in trouble. There's a lot of problems there in that organization, and I just don't see that really working out with Carmelo Anthony saying he's going to be happier in New Jersey, because they're not going to win. There's just no way I see the Nets being a threat in the Eastern Conference, just with Carmelo Anthony on the team. I feel like he'll be the star of the team. He'll be an all-star, but the team is going to struggle mightily. They'll win 20 games, but what good does that do? So, with that said, we're going to really touch on that later. Of course, it is Super NFL Sunday. Week 3 begins today. A lot of great things in Week 2. I'm going to keep flashing back and forth as we're going to preview the games for today, as well as tomorrow's Monday night game and last week's games, which were pretty exciting. Pretty exciting stuff. You got these 0-2 teams. Of course, Minnesota, the Minnesota Favres, as I call them, they are 0-2 right now. And they're panicking. They're like, why do we go, all the way to Mississippi to get this guy if he looks old and looks like a 41-year-old, which that is his age? It's going to be very interesting to see how they play this off. I mean, I'm honestly a big fan of Brett Favre. I've always been for his entire career. But is it possible, just possible, that he may have gone, he probably should just quit after last year? He gave all he got last year. That's what I figured about. The best numbers of his career in his 19th season, he should just quit while he was ahead. So what? You didn't win the Super Bowl. I get it. It happens. You won a Super Bowl already back in 96? It happens. You're not going to always win a Super Bowl. You had a great career. You own every record, good or bad. Why not? Just hang it up. We're not going to think any less of you than we already do. But you also have, in terms of 0-2 teams, like you said, the Vikings, the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? 0-2. They will be playing, of course, my New York Giants soon. I'm waiting for that matchup to come up. It's not this week, though, but I think they're playing the Texans. And they're most likely looking at 0-3 because the Texans, they just light the scoreboard up both ways because they don't stop anybody on defense, and they obviously can put points up on the board. So it's going to be a shootout in Texas, literally, in Texas. So, check out that game. That's going to be a fun one to watch. We're going to go down, some of the main games. Of course, the New York Football Jets will be in action against the Miami Dolphins. A little surprised that there's a lot of Miami Dolphins fans in New York City. I've seen so many Dolphins jerseys walking here to the station, and just really surprised. They're just free with it, don't even care. I'm wearing it. I'm wearing a Ricky Williams jersey in New York. No problem. All right, guy. Live your life. There's nothing wrong with that. So we're going to definitely jump into that. We also have news, Tiger Woods. It's nothing's good really going for him right now. Phil Mickelson is if he has a certain finish, is going to be the new number 1 golfer in the world. We're going to break that down, the significance of it, if it's even significant anyway. I mean, I'm a big Tiger Woods fan, not just for the fact that, he's a great golfer or anything. I was a fan of the fact that the way he usually handles himself with the media. And this is before the whole incident and everything. Because remember, he used to have always a lot of people coming at him because of, the racial issue and all that. He always seemed to handle himself with class. He's very calm. He was himself. But now, obviously, after this issue with the divorce and, Tiger on the prowl, he's like this ladies' man now. It's a shame for Tiger. He just seems, every time they interview him, he just looks like a little kid, just afraid, just in constant fear. And I'm really surprised by that, Tiger. You just lost your cool. I understand your whole personal life was put out for everybody to know. All your little, women of the night came out in the day, and they told on you. It happens. Hey, what else can I say, man? Tiger, watch yourself. So we're going to break down Tiger Woods a little bit. Also, the FIBA Women's basketball tournament. In case you weren't, were wondering, it started, and the U.S. are off to a great start. We're gonna, get a little stats on that. College football, Alabama stays number one. They stay winning because, and this is, I'm gonna just break off there now. Alabama's the number one team in the country. I don't think many teams fear them as we feared other number ones in the past, like when you have Florida with Tim Tebow, even the great Miami Hurricane teams that just rolled over opponents. It just seems like everybody that's in the top 5, top 10, whatever in college football is beatable. Nobody's really, oh, that team is such a dominant force, they're going to beat you 65-6 or something like that. Every game's been pretty close. Either the level of competition has grown in terms of the teams that we consider the lower class have risen their game to another level, or the supposed high class teams like I said, the Floridas, even the Notre Dames have definitely come back to earth, because Notre Dame is not the same program it was. There's no way they have the same prestige. But what I'm saying is, are these supposed powerhouse schools still powerhouses? I mean, you see, like every week now, you got the James Madisons beating them. They're going down to these supposed small schools like it's nothing, and they're not just beating. They're not just like winning by luck. These teams are beating them on both sides of the ball, offense, defense. It seems like they want it more. All it really does at the end of the day is send that little BCS, computer all crazy, because that's really all it does. I mean, they say if this team loses to that team, like, for example, Boise State, they have to beat every team, and they have to hope that the teams that they beat beat all the other good teams and don't lose the bad teams. And that's how they're going to get to a national title game. Like, that to me is just it's so crazy, man, because if I'm undefeated and I played a Division I schedule and I'm ranked, why can't I play for a national title? And we have to worry about this computer setting up. I'm one of those people that are all for the do the tournament, do the playoffs. I feel like this year playoffs, there's too many of these bowl games. There's the Orange Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the Tire Bowl. There's always a different bowl. Like, there was so many bowls that are just created. The Kellogg's Bowl. I don't know. It's just do something. Like, do a tournament. The only main bowl that should matter is a national championship. That's all that should matter. Like every other sport, there's that one big title. That's it. It shouldn't be, oh, yeah, we finished 6-5, but we're going to the Meineke Bowl. Like, come on, man. Like, it's getting crazy right now. You have teams under 500 probably going to a bowl game. It's just silly. Very silly. But at the end of the day, even though you talk about it's college sports and all that, it's about making money. Schools make this money. They, it goes to the alumni association. It goes here, it goes there. At the end of the day, the only people that really lose out are the fans. I mean, I can't really, I say I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I can't really follow Notre Dame football for the simple fact that I know, oh, they lost one game. Oh, they're not going to a national title game. Like, really? Like, I just don't like that. It goes by the numbers. When you carry the 2, divide the 3, and this computer comes out with a random number, and that says where you're ranked in the BCS, consideration. And people pay so much attention to this, like this is the biggest thing in the world. I don't know. I've never really got it, and I probably never will. But, if you understand it, let me know. It's a situation. The number is 877-242-8212. Call me up and let me know how you feel about that, because it's really gotten to the point that I don't like to watch college football in terms of the end of the season, because it doesn't matter who you like, because there's always going to be the same teams there. There's always going to be the Alabamas, the whatever, because they play all the BCS-ranked high teams. So if you have a team like Boise State, they just can't seem to carry that same sort of BCS numbers because of the teams they play compared to another team, and it's too much. It's too annoying. College football. That's all it is. What else can I say about it? It's college football. Another thing, of course, baseball. New York Yankees. I actually had tickets to the Yankees versus Rays this past Wednesday. Couldn't go to the game because of the rain, and I have my commitments in the morning to go to work, and Yankees are not going to pay my salary yet. So it was very interesting that the Yankees, even the game they lost. So obviously I'm not too upset that I missed the game because it was a game they lost against the Rays, starting this big losing streak right now. Well, we're losing to Boston, and I can't. As a Yankee fan, it really kills me to know that we're struggling against Boston, who's just struggling to stay in the race, in the race in terms of wild card, because Boston's like 5 games out now, 8 to go, and they're closer to us. Like the Yankees have gone from being a game and a half up over the Rays to a game and a half back, and it's really interesting. Rays on a 4-game winning streak, Yankees on a 4-game loser streak, and it's the wrong time to have this type of skid. Yes, there's 8 games left, but we still are faced with the possibility of not just being a wild card. We could actually lose the wild card spot if we continue this bad streak, because we still got to play the Red Sox a couple of more times. And we have to salvage this game we have tonight. It just really looks very bleak if you're a Yankee fan and you lose this game tonight, because now you're looking at the fact that we're not healthy in terms of our pitching staff. Pettit looked terrible. Yes, I said terrible in his last start. Sabathia got roughed up. If it really comes down to Hughes and Burnett, we're in trouble, because Burnett's been inconsistent this year, very inconsistent. And he's always been like that, especially last year. He was a very important number 2 guy. And the Yankees rotation, if we assume that we make the playoffs, because I haven't even put anything to bed. I remember watching the Yankees batting practice report right before the Rays game, and he was talking to Dave Ireland. He's the pitching coach for the New York Yankees. He's just saying, oh well, we just we're gonna get CC some reps because we have to realize we have to get him ready for the postseason, and we have not clinched the playoff spot yet. So how are we saying we're getting ready for the postseason? We haven't clinched the playoff spot, and yet 4 straight losses. Red Sox are breathing down our necks right now. This is baseball. Weirder things have happened. I've seen teams in the last month of the season be down 11 games in the division, come back and win it, just like that. It's baseball. You cannot take anything for granted. I'm not really a big fan of the whole, let's get them ready for the postseason. Let's rest them up. Let's put little rookies out there and get them some time and learn about them. Just win the game. When we clinch, then we can start thinking about that. Teixeira's hurt. We understand that he's playing hurt the whole season. He's doing great. Hit 2 home runs, I believe 2 nights ago against the Red Sox. And yeah, A-Rod hit 2 shots. Jeter's starting to heat up. It's really just the pitching now. The pitching's got to kind of catch up. Talk about 10 runs here, 7 runs there, 10 runs there. It's like our main we're going to hit. I feel like the Yankees are going to be a team that's going to hit. We just have to be able to throw strikes and get people out, because the pitching is so important. Andy Pettit is a very important guy in our franchise for the simple fact that when he comes into a playoff game, he's probably, I'm not sure, but if I could be wrong, once again, call me up if I'm wrong, he could be the winningest postseason pitcher. I believe that's the stat. I don't have the exact stat on me, but he's such an important guy to have in the playoffs, and to get him healthy, that was important. He's a guy you want to have as your number 2. Now, Burnett has been struggling, and then, you got Phil Hughes has been up and down. Who do you really go as your number 3? And in that case, do you even go to a number 4 starter at all? That's the dilemma, because CC Sabathia has shown last year that he can go on 3 days, 4 days rest. He's not I'm not saying it's something that we want to do, but you want to put your best players out there to win. I feel like if we're up 2-0 in the series, then you're going to throw out Hughes or Burnett. But if it's a 0-2 situation, you throw out Sabathia with one arm, because he's our only pitcher right now. And the fact that he got roughed up against the Rays, it worries me a bit. It definitely does. So we're going to see how that works out with the Yankees. Now, the New York Mets, that's a train wreck right there. They stopped the winning streak of the Phillies. Hooray. I guess that's a good thing to put out there if you're a Mets fan. I'm trying to look at such a bright side. Just the team has been such a drag like the entire year, and I'm not really a Mets fan, but if I want to watch them, I usually used to watch them and see like little things that were exciting. They have these late, inning heroics sometimes with Wright and Reyes and Beltran. Now it's just like, oh, we're down, we're not coming back. Nah, I wonder what's going on next game. Like that's the mentality it looks like in Metland. I don't get it. It's never really been something something that really makes sense to me for the simple fact that New York Mets fans, I feel like, are very dedicated. They go through a lot of heartbreak. I always say Mets fans are similar to Knicks fans, so I understand what a Mets fan is going through because I am a Knicks fan. Every year we put out money, we thinking we have a shot at winning, and every year we get our hearts broken, orange and blue. If you're a Mets fan, you kind of see how your owners act, and the Wilpons, they're not Steinbrenners. They're not gonna go out there and win. They're not gonna do whatever it takes to win. That's not them. They are happy with owning the team, and that is it. They got a new ballpark. That is it. They're happy about that. Doesn't matter if we win games, as long as we got a new ballpark. And Mr. Met. That's really all that matters, it seems like. So, that's a franchise that it could be so much better. I remember they had a shot at Alex Rodriguez at one point, and they didn't want to do it. He could have played shortstop for him, but they didn't want to do it. And then what can you say, And then the Yankees end up getting him eventually. But it's just like, what else? What else do you want to do for this team? You throw money at Jason Bay, hurt all year. I barely knew he was on the team. I remember Jason Bay was a threat when he was with Pittsburgh. Even with the Red Sox, he had a couple of good, moments. But with the Mets, he's been non-existent. I keep forgetting he's on the team. Somebody has to remind me all the time that Jason Bay is the outfielder for the New York Mets. Because all I see is Angel Pagan. Yes, that's all I see in the outfield, Angel Pagan. I don't even think he knew he was going to be starting that much. But Jason Bay, really? I don't get it. New York Mets, a lot to go there. That pitching staff, R.A. Dickey's your ace right now because Santana's been hurt. That's when you know you have a problem. I'm not putting anything against R.A. Dickey. He had a great year for a guy who probably didn't expect to be starting as much as he was this year. Just he can't get it done. John Maynard might be through because injuries, and he had his great moments in 06, which I think was the best Mets team in years. That was a team that, in my opinion, even though they lost to the Cardinals, were the best team in baseball, top to bottom. Best team in baseball, most exciting team to watch in baseball, but couldn't get the job done. Beltran, 3 strikes, left the bat on the shoulder. That's what it came down to at the end of the day. So it's really very interesting to see what's going to happen with the Mets. 877-242-8212 is the number. I am trying to give the Mets a little bit of headway. Like, yeah, they're trying. They're going out there. It's been a lot of bad luck. There's been injuries. Reyes is hurt. Yeah, we get it. Reyes is hurt, but you got other players here. You got money. I keep throwing this out there. You have money. Go out there and get those players. Don't just wait on Luis Castillo to, think it's 2002 again, because he's not going to be the same Luis Castillo from 2002. It's a shame. Team is just a mess. They're tough to watch because I don't even know who's on the team half the time. Ike Davis is pretty good, but how long is he going to stay? We don't know. David Wright, he's David Wright. When he's not striking out, he is driving in runs. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the Mets rebound off of a year like this. And I'm not trying to knock, their future, but it's not looking very good. It's very bleak. It's very sad looking. I'm not thrilled if I'm a Mets fan to see next year come through. There's always next year. Yeah, that's our slogan. But it does not look good right now for the New York Metropolitans. That's all I got to say about that for them. Tough run for them. A couple other things that really came out in sports this week. Now, they have this thing on, I think it was on ESPN I was watching, where they do the come on, man type thing. And it's funny because you see some of the dumbest plays in sports, and I wish I could, play them some. I'll put them on the site a little bit later on keepitrealsports.com. Great website. Check it out. Bookmark it, tell your friends. But they have these things where they show, like, the craziest, dumbest things that happen in sports. And one of the plays was Brett Favre, fumbling in the end zone. There's actually this one play from the CFL. And the player is a lineman. I think he recovers a fumble and is running towards the end zone. Gets to the end zone, is about to, be, celebrating. The ball is then knocked out of his hands right as he's about to cross the line, and is recovered in the end zone by the other team and is a touchback. Oh, man, that is the most embarrassing situation that could happen. And it happens all the time, which leads to my my main question is, when do we say it's enough with the celebrations before we before we break the plane? It's going to be a little crazy. We already know about the Calvin Johnson no catch touchdown where he dropped the ball and, like he was so cool and everything besides getting all the way down to the ground and maintaining possession, which is so important. Whatever happened to the days where the players used to score a touchdown and just hand the ball off to the referee? Are those days gone? I mean, we know T.O., we know Chad Ochocinco. They took it to another level with the touchdown celebrations. These are pom-poms, popcorn, Sharpies, Marion cheerleaders, you name it. They've done it all. I don't see why we got to keep, right before we touch we cross the line, let's fling the ball up in the air because we're cool. Like, what's up with that? Come on, just score a touchdown, and that's it. That's all that should matter. I've seen so many times players have ruined their team's chances of winning, and then they always show them. The cameraman is the best at these games because they get right on the player's head. They just look at him, and he's just looking all sad like, I hope I don't get in trouble. And it's always during the time where they're doing review to see if he exactly, let the ball go before he broke the plane. And he's just looking like, please be a touchdown. Please be a touchdown. And you can see the coach's face. They always do a little split screen where you see the coach's face and you see how they're looking to see if he's going to yell at him or anything. That's great TV. I'm sorry. That's drama for me. That's drama. I'm not a big drama guy. I'm not going to be watching Beverly Hills 90210 and all that. I'm not watching that, but I will watch a coach yell at his player on the sideline because that's the type of person I am. It's funny. And it's got to stop. This touchdown celebrations has got to be limited to, after we see the referee put the hands up and say touchdown, after that, then we can go crazy with the celebrations and bring out, dancing people and stuff. I don't know. It's getting to be too much. I don't understand why it's gotten to this point that we have to discuss it, but it has. It definitely has. Great stuff. I'm just trying to remember now, some of the greatest touchdown dances I've seen. Yeah, I think it was the Icky Shuffle or Icky dance. I think it was the Icky Shuffle. He's a player. He used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's just this weird dance. The Dirty Bird was one of my favorites from Jamal Anderson. Everybody remembers the Dirty Bird when the Falcons made it to the Super Bowl back in 1998. Yeah, 1998. Lost that to the Denver Broncos. That was John Elway's last one. So shout out to John Elway. Doing this one's for John. Remember that? That was deep. So you had that dance. Another one, Terrell Owens doesn't really have a dance. It's kind of just we're going to take a prop and do something with it. He hasn't really done it in a while, though. I'm waiting for him to do something with Cincinnati. Have him on my fantasy team, so do something. But we'll see how it goes. It's just a slow time for him. Very slow time for him. That's the best I can really put it. Interesting fact of the day is the fact that when you look at the touchdown celebrations and how they've grown from being, let's hand the ball off to the referee, let's get back on the thing. I remember they used to, the fine, I don't know if they still do the fines for the excessiveness or unsportsmanlike conduct and such for, bringing a woman on the stage, bringing a woman on the field and slow dancing with her. It's always something weird. It's never just hey, here's the touchdown, score, little dance. It's it. Yeah, Braylon Edwards, who actually is very big in the news. We're going to really get into him after we come back from the break. He was doing a Teach Me How to Dougie dance. Yes, teach me how to Dougie. That's what you do when you score a touchdown. You teach the crowd how to Dougie. How this is possible, we don't know, and how America loves it. They love it. Teach me how to Dougie in front of everybody. Braylon Edwards needs to shave the beard. He looks like Freeway, the rapper. If anybody is into rap, just Google Freeway, and that's Braylon Edwards, basically. So check that out. That's interesting stuff. New York Jets won that game against the Patriots. Teach me how to Dougie. Del Rivas, we're also going to break him down because he's broken down and will not be in Miami for that game against the Dolphins. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the Jets do it without their best player. And everybody, I love how everybody just keeps reminding them that your best player is Del Rivas. No one else is worth it, but Del Rivas, that guy, he's your guy. I swear, he wasn't even on the Hard Knocks until the last episode, and I got tired of him. So we're going to see how we're going to break down the Jets without Darrelle Revis when we come back. You're listening to Keep It Real Sports here on chataboutit.com.
CBS News Update. I'm Jim Taylor. A controversial leader of an Atlanta mega church in the pulpit this morning.
I am going to fight very vigorously against these charges.
Charges of sexual affairs with young parishioners. Reporter Pete Combs in Atlanta.
Bishop Eddie Long admitted he's in a tough spot.
I'm under attack.
But he was defiant as he spoke to more than 8,000 members of the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church.
I feel like David against Goliath. But I got 5 rocks, and I haven't found one yet.
Saying he's not a perfect man, Long never denied allegations he used expensive gifts and international travel to lure 4 young men into homosexual relationships.
Those 4 young men are suing Eddie Long. He says he will fight back in court and that he will be back in the pulpit of the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church next week. CBS News Update. I'm Jim Taylor.
All right, we're back. Keeping It Real Sports here on Chat About It Radio, powered by CBS Radio. Been having that discussion about the New York Jets. You know, they're going against the Miami Dolphins today. Darrelle Revis will not play. Everybody knows he got beat horribly. Well, horribly. He got beat pretty bad against Randy Moss. Pretty much 50 yards down the field, right down the middle, step for step. He could not hang with him. Now, they're saying it's because of his hamstring. He did pull up a little lame. But, he got beat. We're not going to change the fact of that. And Randy Moss, still got it after his big rants about, I just going to be my last year and this and that and this and that. It's going to be very interesting stuff. And the play was kind of funny to me. And I say it's funny for the simple fact that no one really expected for that to happen. No one really expected for Darrelle Revis to just come up that lame and that beat, because he's never been beat before. I don't remember the last time Darrelle Revis was beat that bad like he was in that last game against the Patriots. He was just down the field, gone. That's all like breakaway speed. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that whole thing played out for him. I mean, I once again am a huge Darrelle Revis fan, and he is the Jets' everything. From what I've heard from Rex Ryan and the way they talk about him, they can't live without him. They can't live without that guy. You just can't do it. There's no way you can do things without Darrelle Revis. He's your guy. He's been their guy for only 3 years now. He's got the big contract. I don't see Cromartie has not been that great. They've thrown at Cromartie more than they've thrown at Revis for obvious reasons. And then you got the rookie Wilson. He's still young. He's still not there yet. But at the same time, you pretty much have to worry about Brandon Marshall for the Miami Dolphins. That's the main guy you worry about. I just don't see what the big thing is with Darrelle Revis. I feel like the Jets will be pretty okay for the most part. They just gotta be careful when it comes to the whole Revis situation. That's play him sparingly when he comes back, because they're not even going to bring him down to Miami. They're going to make sure he stays in New York, so he's here now. Might be listening. So, just they're going to keep him down there and just keep tabs on him for a while. That's their main thing right now. So, Randy Moss was the big topic of discussion for us last week. And there was a poll on keepingitrealsports.com, which we're actually going to break down a little bit. The results, keepingitrealsports.com, once again, for all your latest news right now. And the question was, where does Randy Moss rank among current NFL wide receivers? And the right now it's a tie between top 5 and top 10. Top 15 got a vote, but nobody voted, said he's just a top 25 wide receiver. He's a top 5 receiver in a lot of people's books still because he has the breakaway speed. He has the length. He's not as young as he used to be, but he's a lot smarter. Now, top 10 is a definite, but it's really a sparingly between, what money he should get, because that's what it comes down to. He wants the big money. That's what he feels like he's not getting from the Patriots. And that's why he keeps saying, I don't get the respect. And, can you really blame the guy? He's not getting the respect. He's just not. It's a shame because I'm a big Randy Moss fan. I like the guy. And he wants to get his paid. And let's listen to his interview that he had right after the first game and try to feel where he's coming from with. Let's check out a little bit of Randy Moss from. This was after the last 2 weeks ago against Cincinnati and what he had to say. All right, maybe we just a little technical difficulties there because I was hoping for that to start working, but it seems like it doesn't. So we'll hear from Randy Moss a little bit later on the show. But back to the situation with the Patriots. They are 1-1. It was a very surprising loss, in my opinion, to the Jets because I had picked the Jets to lose in that game, and they just for some reason just seemed to just come. It came through. I mean, I'm not saying that the Jets are a bad team or anything or whatever, but after that performance they had against Baltimore, how can I trust them? I mean, they were just not a good team at all. They got beat so bad, especially with the offensive side of the ball. You got of course the hit on Dustin Keller and then him running out of bounds before getting the first down on fourth down. Not going to help your cause a little bit if you're New York Jets fan. So it's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I like to look at the Jets as the type of team that would back up their talk, and they definitely backed it up against the Patriots, especially with the Patriots, how dominating they were against Cincinnati. It is ridiculous, man. It was just a lot of things going on there. So I'm pretty surprised. Definitely pretty surprised at how the Jets just seem to just bounce back on them and just really handle the way the game is supposed to go. Mark Sanchez still think he's not a good quarterback at this point. Had a lot of situations where he had to run away with the ball. He got hit a lot because the offensive line, they haven't figured it out since Hard Knocks, it looks like, because he was getting knocked around the entire game. And what else could I say? I mean, the guy, he's a different type of player. So, it's going to be very interesting. The Jets, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do at that quarterback position. That's the bottom line. What they want to do with it is really up to them. They have, in my opinion, they have all the tools in the world in terms of Mark Brunell being there as a helpful mentor to Mark Sanchez. But I just don't see the progression that they keep talking about him being a franchise quarterback. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing anything franchise-esque about Mark Sanchez at this point. But, I could be wrong. I've been wrong at many times. So, this could be another one of those moments. And the number is 877-242-8212. If you want to tell me how wrong I am, I dare you, double dare you to tell me how wrong I am because I need to hear that. No, I don't. I'm just going to argue with you. But the Jets, that is their situation. They're going against Miami, tough team. They just beat the Minnesota Vikings with aging Brett Favre at quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see how, and I mean really interesting to see how they come back off of this loss. Because I'm not really big on the whole let's play, a different type of game. Let's see how Brett works with this, how he works with that. Vikings are in trouble, bottom line. They have a bye week after this game this week. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to them. I'm going to move on to now the New York Giants. The Giants are facing a really tough situation. They're going against the best rush team, I believe, in the league with Chris Johnson, who runs if you don't touch him, he's gone. Like, he doesn't need much of a block. He's so fast, he's just gone. Like Speedy Gonzalez, he's out. He can't be stopped. I think if the Giants don't put pressure, they have to put a lot of pressure on that whole offensive line. Because that offensive line, if they get any type of push, Johnson's gone. They don't need a lot. They just need a little bit of a hole, and the guy's gone. It's going to be tough for the Giants to stay on that, and it's going to be really important for them to be focused on making those key stops, especially with their offense having the struggles they have on their running side of the ball, because Brandon Jacobs apparently does not want to be a Giant anymore. This is what the rumor is. Because now we're getting into the actual rumor part of these football teams. Both the Giants and Jets have these big off-the-field issues, on-the-field issues. Brandon Jacobs really does not want to be a Giant, is the rumor, because, his game last week, I think he had like 4 yards on 2 carries, like something crazy like that against the Colts. He was not effective at all whatsoever. He has not been effective the first 2 games. He has not even been a factor in terms of people talking about him. He's 6'5", 260 plus. He can't get into the game and knock somebody down. It's a shame, and I don't know what else to say for Brandon Jacobs. He's a tough guy. He's always been a guy I liked watching him play because he played with such aggression. But where's the aggression now? I just see it on the sideline when you're throwing your helmet into the stands. Now, get me wrong here. If I had a helmet, I'm not going to throw it into the stands because you might not get that back. And if I'm the guy that caught it, I'm not giving it back. You got to throw a helmet at me. Like, what am I giving it back for? You better exchange it for some cash or something. I mean, that was the most ridiculous thing I've seen. Like, why would you even want to do something like that? Let's throw cash at him. Let's get that going. So it's really interesting how that all worked out. But hey, it's a situation for the Giants. Ahmad Bradshaw's the running back. I'm not sold on him being the solo running back right now. Eli Manning's throwing the ball way too much right now. Hakeem Nicks is his main receiver. Steve Smith, where are you? It's Giants. I'm a Giants fan, and they better do come up with something against the Titans, man, because it's such a tough matchup for them. They don't look good in this matchup. I'm being 100% honest. I want to see something good out of them in terms of like a good effort, Eli throwing down the field. But they don't have much on their running side. Vince Young, you saw how he struggled. He got pulled from the game, and I said this last week that he was not that good. Dennis Dixon got hurt, so I was wrong on that aspect, saying that Dennis Dixon was a better type of player than Vince Young. But hey, it happens. That's all I can say. The next thing, now with the whole drama, like with New York, I was saying how Braylon Edwards with the DUI this past week. Come on, really, Braylon? Really? You're going to get a DUI, your team just fresh off a win, you was teaching people how to Dougie, on national TV, and you have a beard like Freeway. I don't get it. I just don't get why we have to have a DUI. You can pay for a designated driver. You are in the NFL. You have money. I don't get it. You didn't have to do that. It was really so unnecessary right there for him to do that, but he still did it anyway, and what else can I say? What else really can I say? It's a shame that it came to that, but hey, I'm not Braylon Edwards. You felt like you need to drive drunk. That's your goal. I heard that a lot of Jets players are upset with him, and I know Rex Ryan is because he doesn't seem to hold his tongue for anything with a bunch of F-bombs he dropped in Hard Knocks. It's going to be a very interesting season because the Jets put a lot of pressure on themselves, so the whole world is watching. Not just New York alone is tough. Now the whole world is watching all the big talk Jets. So be ready, Jets fans. You got a lot of defending to do. All right, we're going to switch gears right now and talk about one of the big games on the NFL schedule. You got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Houston Texans. I'm going with the Texans on this one. Dallas is going to go 0-3. They have not looked good on really either side of the ball. They haven't been consistent on either side of the ball. The Texans have not looked good on defense, but hey, they score. Andre Johnson, just throw it up for him. He'll go get it. That's his whole thing now. Matt Schaub is no joke. All those years behind Michael Vick, Look at Matt Shaw, man. He's pretty good. So I like the Texans, man. The Texans look good. I see them being big winners against the Dallas Cowboys. That's the only way it looks like right now. The other games, like I was saying, how you have Michael Vick. He's a starter now in Philly. A lot of people are giving him a lot of heat for the simple fact that, oh, well, you said it was going to be Kevin Kolb last week. And, well, look at the way the guy's playing. How do you not make that decision? The guy's playing out of his mind right now. He's playing like a better than his Pro Bowl year. I've never seen Michael Vick this good at this point in the season. This, to me, is just a different type of Vick. I like it. This is definitely an enjoyable experience for Michael Vick. He's good. He's playing very well. I got to give it to Vick, man. He's really shown that he can throw the ball better. His accuracy is much better than it was while he was a member of the Falcons. He's still running with a blazing speed, so I mean he's in shape this year. I still didn't believe last year he was in shape. Yeah, he came out of jail, but he did not seem like the same Michael Vick. This year he just seems like dangerous. He's the same Michael Vick, but better. He's like a Michael Vick upgrade. It's good to see him get a second chance at life in the NFL as a starting quarterback. Kevin Kolb is a nice guy. It's a shame that he has to wait behind another quarterback after just getting the job for a day. Barely, not even a day, just for a couple of quarters before he get knocked out with a concussion. So, hey, keep your head up, Kevin. That's tough. Or find another team and work for, some other players. Matt Shaw, he's an example. So it's a tough situation right there if you're Kevin Kolb. Andy Reid also, you had to make that decision because people were going to beat him up either way. They was like, how you going to take it away from Kolb, man? You promised it from Kolb, man. But then all of a sudden you got people saying, oh, Vic was doing this. Vic is the guy. How you not put Vic out there if you want to win a title? That's what happened. They had to put Vic out there. You can't have all of Philadelphia mad at you. Philadelphia, those people fight. You saw Rocky. So it's going to be very interesting for Michael Vick to make this adjustment now. He's a starting quarterback. He has the responsibility of the team. Does he have the locker room? These plays, I heard that he has the right to come up with his own plays. These are all his plays now. Are the packages changing now? Or do we have special Michael Vick packages in terms of him now as a starting quarterback as opposed to when he came in to do his little fill-in role, the Wildcat? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how they play this out in Philly. It's always a quarterback situation with Andy Reid. Even when he had Donovan McNabb, now he has Michael Vick and Kevin Kolb. Golly, Andy Reid, I feel you, man. That's a lot. All right. NBA news. It was big news recently. Like I was talking about, Carmelo Anthony could possibly, and this is a big possibility, mind you, become a member of the New York Knicks very soon for the simple fact that he has come out, according to Yahoo.com, saying that he would rather be a New York Knick than a New Jersey Net. I don't know how Jay-Z's going to feel about that, but that's the way he's feeling right now. He really wants to be a Knick. I like it. I'm a Knicks fan. So what would you say? I mean, this is what it says. Carmelo Anthony is implored Denver management to keep exploring details that would land him with the New York Knicks. With the blockbuster trade that would have sent the All-Star forward to New Jersey Nets has reached a perilous crossroads. League sources told Yahoo Sports on Saturday night. So here's the thing. Now they say this beginning to deteriorate because they don't really want. He doesn't really want to go to New Jersey, and I already said there's nothing there to grow on in Jersey. There really isn't. What, Jersey Shore, Snooki? That's about it. I just don't see why go there. The discussion now has been saying for the Knicks are talking about trading away, and I'm feeling a little some type of way about this, about Danilo Gallinari leaving New York, and I like Gallinari. Anthony Randolph, we haven't even seen play with the Knicks yet, and also Tony Douglas, who was pretty good. He was pretty good last year as a rookie, so Melo is a lot. He's a lot. He's an all-star guy, and then you put him in the front court with Amari Stoudemire, who says he wants to be the main option. But if Melo comes, you're number 2, buddy. That's just what it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I really don't know, man. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Knicks pull this one off. So it's going to be something that would be very interesting. I've heard about Blake Griffin, the now new rookie. He's like his second-year rookie. He didn't play his whole first year because he tore his knee up. For the Clippers being involved in a trade for Melo. Now, I don't know how good Blake Griffin is, but that's a better trade because he could be really good. We forgot how good he was in college. Now, you put him in the pros, and he's going to be a true rookie. I don't know. I really don't know. What do you do? What do you do if you're Denver? You have so many options, so many very tempting, sexy options. You have to make a move because this guy has pretty much told you he's not coming back to your organization. You want to get some type of value for him. You saw what happened to Cleveland. You leave them on their own. That whole, dedication and loyalty, that just goes out the window. Goodness, you gotta consider it. You just gotta consider saying, I'm gonna have to trade this guy. I gotta get some type of value for him. That's just what it is. So they're in a tough situation. That's all it really has to be. So I'm a big fan of Carmelo in the sense that he understands the business. A lot of these players are smarter than I feel like they were back in the day in terms of the way they want to be handled business wise. I don't think they're better people in the sense of how they relate to the fans, but how they relate business wise, they've pretty much taken all the power in their own hands. Like, I remember Michael Jordan was the only guy that had the power in his own hands, because Jordan, if he felt like it was like, yeah, I'll sign back for 1 year, give me like $30 million, I'll think about it. Why not? I'm bored. I'll play baseball if I don't get signed. It's not a big deal. Chicago throw $30 million at him and say, "We sign Michael Jordan for a 1 year deal worth $30 million." Like, they'll do stuff like that. That's because he's Michael Jordan. He could do whatever he wants. Now, LeBron James basically made his little Michael Jordan ploy, and, he just happened to hurt the entire city of Cleveland and piss off more than half the NBA nation of fans, players, and owners alike. Now, very big difference is the players are dictating what they want to do here and there with their contracts. They're dictating everything. So it's not the same how when, like, the NFL, they have no control. Players really have no control over their contracts. Yes, they say, oh, we signed a 7-year deal. We're going to cut you after 2. That's it. That's it. That's the NFL. That's why they're going to go on strike. It's going to happen. NBA, you're going to get that money. It's a lot of money, big money. I don't see a lot of players, I don't see a lot of players taking a step backwards from the movement of we're going to be in control of our own stuff. Yes, I understand that the integrity of the game is compromised with players not being on different teams, where you don't have the same matchups like back in the day with Bird, with Magic, East Coast, West Coast. It's going to be people who all want to be on the same team, like they want to all make their own dream teams in the NBA, which I thought as a kid could only be done on NBA Live. Yeah, I played NBA Live as a kid in '95. Awesome game. But that was the only time I could really thought of that happening. But that was happening in real life. So, what is there to say? What is there really to say? LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, Miami Heat, very interesting. And don't sleep on Boston. Ray Allen's older. They're older. They're a much older team than Kevin Garnett. He's not the same player anymore. Shaq is not the same player anymore, but he's still Shaq. He does everything. Did you see Shaq versus? He battled Justin Bieber. He just did. It's just something to put out there. He battled Justin Bieber. But it's going to be a very interesting season in the NBA. If the Knicks get Carmelo, Knicks are a playoff team. I've said it right now. Knicks are a playoff team if we get Carmelo Anthony. You're talking about a team that's going to have Raymond Felton starting at the point guard position. I'm assuming, I don't know how they're going to do this with the guards in the small forward position, but you're going to have Amari Stoudemire, the center or power forward, and you're going to have Carmelo Anthony there. They got a good team there. I still think they're going to need a couple of, little bits and pieces of complementary parts, but they have a team that can make some noise. So not big noise like we're going to win a title this year, but noise enough to say, hey, we're a good team. You may want to, take us seriously when you come to New York and not just go to see a show. That's the way I would look at it. If I'm a visiting team, New York would be more of a threat. But that's the Knicks right now. Very interesting stuff, what they're going through. I can't help but wonder what would happen if the Knicks did not get Carmelo and he did go to New Jersey. What would you say if you're a Knicks fan? Would you be upset? Because I personally would be. All that is a lot. You see the teams are bulking up. You don't play this game to just, in my opinion, just to sell tickets, just to win, little games and go to the playoffs. You play to win titles. I feel like that's been lost. And we need to get back to those ways of the 90s and even that late 90s team that made it by luck to the finals. It was so fun to watch. The Knicks were just so much fun to watch every night. You didn't know what they were going to do. Either they were going to lose. They lost their games. They were all heartbreakers at times, but they were fun to watch, man. Patrick Ewing back in the day, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason fighting everybody. It was just fun, man. It was a fun time back then. I really missed the NBA in the 94, 95, just the whole 90s NBA. I missed that. That was my NBA right there. That's how I grew up on it. And it made me love the game of basketball, watching that, watching Jordan, watching Barkley, watching Shaq, young Shaq, and, all the stuff like that, because they used to do the stuff. And now, as a kid, when I watched, they had like NBA Inside stuff. And it was so kid-friendly. They would have all these players. They never seemed scary. They never seemed like, oh, I'm going to cut you if I'm not on the court. They all seemed like, hey, I'm such and such, and this is what happened this week on Inside Stuff. They would always have something funny like that. Reggie Miller was a character. He was fun. They really made it fun to watch the NBA no matter what age you were. You were older. You were like 7 years old. Like, what I'm saying? Like I was like watching 7, 8, 9 years old back in the day. Those moments made me really love the game and love being there. So I'm really hoping the NBA can turn that image around and just say, you know what, this is what we are. We're gonna be entertainment, but at the same time for everyone. I'm not saying we gotta do Space Jam again, but we gotta go back to where we were. I feel like we've become so much of a business that we forgot about the fans, especially the young fans and the kids. I see kids now that know how to do three-way trades in like get under the salary cap because of video games now at like 8, 9 years old. I was talking to a kid. He's like, yeah, I'm about to acquire LeBron James. I just got to make sure I get under the salary cap and, arbitration and all that. I'm like, what? Like, how do you kids know this? I mean, I remember the Like Mike song, not, that. I wasn't thinking about their contracts back then when I was 8 or 9 years old. I knew what teams they played for and everything, but it's gotten so the kids are like, wow, They really take it to another level. It's become such a business. You might as well just teach NBA business in most classes. I think they have that course. I don't know what it's called, but they should really do that. It's something, and I just want them to bring back the fun of the game, and that's my main rant when it comes to that. I really enjoy that old NBA style. And we're gonna end the show early this week. We're only gonna do an hour. I just want to thank everybody for listening. This transition over to CBS Radio and chataboutit.com. Chat About It, I feel like it was a great station, and it really gave people a voice that really want to have that just talk and don't just play music and stuff like that. It's gonna be you guys will find out in the future weeks or a week of what's gonna happen with Chat About It. But what I'm saying, there's just a great staff, great people that I met here, and I know everybody's gonna be going off and doing their own thing. This is what we do, and I want to say that it's been a pleasure opening up to a new audience, and just being a new experience. Keeping It Real Sports is going to continue, most likely for independent for a while, and then we're going to move on to possibly somewhere else. But I want to thank everybody for listening that took the time to get up on a Sunday morning. Keep checking out keepitrealsports.com. There's going to be a lot of updates there, podcasts and such. And, just thank you for listening and, just for giving me an opportunity, like giving me a voice to just talk and say what I had to say. And, something I like to talk about, and that is sports. So, once again, thank you. And everybody have a good one. This is Keep It Real Sports. Signing off. I'm Ed Easton. Yeah, we're going to get out of here right now. So, thank you very much.
CBS News, I'm Jim Taylor. The embattled leader of an Atlanta megachurch on the defensive this Sunday morning from the pulpit.
Bishop Eddie Long stood before more than 8,000 members of his New Birth Missionary Baptist Church to tell them,
I have never in my life
portrayed myself as a perfect man, but I am not the man that's being portrayed on the television.
Long is accused of using lavish gifts and expensive travel to lure Ford